What's up, everybody? We did amazing yesterday. We got them in the correct difficulty order. We pretty much crushed the titles of the categories. We didn't make any mistakes. But you guys know perfectly well, art is ever so susceptible to making clumsy errors and completely failing the puzzle. Let's see if that happens today for the Monday, November 6, 2023 arrangement of connections. No directions this time for whatever reason. Here we go. We've got ice herring, Bond wish, wax platter, bullion option, soup CD, LP die, stock vinyl, and sugar funny. Okay. We've got the CD, LP, vinyl. Which would sort of be like well, the vinyl and the LP are very similar. In fact, an LP basically is a vinyl record. The CD would obviously be a compact disc. I don't see too much else that matches that. Let's hold off on those. Oh, I see a good one. Herringbone, wishbone. Herringbone is a cool little, kind of like a tessellation pattern. I remember that when I did the pathway from the driveway to our house, one of the options I had for arranging the paved stones was to do a herringbone. I don't think I ended up doing it. I think it was too complicated for me. But anyways, that's how I know that word. I hope there's some more bones. Funny bone, yes. And probably soup bone. I think that sounds reasonable. I do not think any of the others would make sense for bones. If this is purple, that's great. It'll help probably straighten out some of the other categories that had overlap. So, is this purple, and is it basically blank bone? The only thing is actually, we have to be careful. I wouldn't want you guys to knock me a quarter of a point, because wishbone actually I think is an actual word, whereas, and so is herringbone, I think. Whereas soup bone is two separate words, and I think funny bone is as well. So I'm actually going to modify that and say words with bone in them. Words that go with bone, absolutely perfect. Yeah, no credit, guys, if you say blank bone. No, I'm just kidding. Bone is obviously the secret word, and we nailed it. All right. Very cool. What's up next, however, is starting to get a little bit tough. We've got the okay. Well, this is probably, I have a feeling this could be one of three versions of die. It could be a die that you roll, like when you play dice. It could be obviously, no longer alive. I think it also is the when you have a die that's used to make a mold. I think that's the correct spelling. I don't know if it would be that one, but I actually think it could be the cube, because sugars come in cubes. Dyes are obviously cubes. Ooh, ice cubes. And I remember when I was on this diet, it was a very stringent diet, and they would give me this little cube of bouillon. It was actually quite delicious, and you just put it in, boiling water, and it just makes kind of like a really nice, kind of like a soft, watery soup, but with all the delicious flavor. And it was in the form of a cube. So if that's the case, let's see if we can sort out the rest. That's the best way to make sure that you don't screw up. Now, see, the thing is, actually, I realized that CD is not a compact disc necessarily. It could actually be, what does a CD stand for? Cash deposit, I think, which is a form of an investment. Is it a cash deposit? Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think CDs and stocks and bonds and options, yes, would all be forms of investments. That's pretty sweet. And then you'd be left with vinyl and LP, which I know go together. I mean, they're essentially the same thing. LP can also be spelled ELPEE. I remember that from a Wordle challenge I did once, which was pretty cool. A tough one because you have three E's. Anyways, vinyl LP. I think a platter makes sense because it sort of resembles the shape. And then you'd be left with wax. I would have no idea to go with that, but it just sort of makes sense because wax is certainly not. I mean, I suppose you could invest in it, but I would probably stick more with a stock, a bond, an option, or a CD. You know, the more traditional investment options. So yeah, let's go with it. I think we've got these straightened out, which is fantastic. Now it's just a matter of the all-important reverse chronology. We've got to go blue now. I actually think this would be good for blue because those like things that resemble shapes and all are somewhat harder. So let's say things that are cube shaped. Absolutely perfect. Next, I think the investments will be the easiest. So we're going to go wax, vinyl, platter, and LP. And we will just say records, names for records, terms for records. This is almost too good to be true, guys. My luck is going to run out very soon. Nevertheless, we know that these are investments. So are you ready? Let's just remove this. And of course, I have one more thing to say. Kashazawazzle!